Honestly, what on earth is going on? I feel like each and every day that news articles pop up on my phone, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder. What is the agenda behind this? What are they trying to hide? Like, what is it that's actually going on here? Or are people really just this ridiculous? Maybe they are. Maybe it's that simple that people are just that ridiculous. I don't know, but I think it is incredibly weird.
1, 2, 3, take a space! Woo! Behind you, look, right behind you. It's okay, Flynn up there. Flynn, I got you. I got you, Flynn. Oh, the moon! You guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon. Look. Okay. Look at the moon. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's amazing.
So we're just going to dive into this here today. I literally ran out to the car and I'm just going to sit in here. I'm literally wearing my slippers. I'm just going to sit out here in the car and go over this with you guys because I feel like things are getting so weird and getting so weird at such a just quick pace that let's just sit down and have a conversation about this, because everything I'm learning about this, and we're going to go through, I have an article, I've pulled together some data, everything just makes me go, Lord, if only people would turn and see your face. Like, what on earth is going on? Before we get into this, I do want to ask for a big prayer request. I have a feeling it's going to be a long time coming that I'm going to be having to say this, but there are major wildfires that broke out in our area. Yes, this isn't an old video from the last wildfires we had. This is a new one just here today, April 15th at 7:42 at night, that we've had emergency alerts going off. There are evacuations happening. Our home currently, like where we are fine, but it's around us. Wildfires have popped up here in Western North Carolina. It is all in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene that are causing these issues and these things to happen. Our winds are out of control. They have been so much here today specifically. We actually had a massive tree come crashing down on our grandfather's home, the home that we're staying in Tennessee while we're up caring for aging parents. I'll link that information down below. So they've been dealing with that because of the winds and everything coming down with the trees. We've got damage to the house and stuff going on there. Luckily, everybody was okay. But we're supposed to be there in a couple days. So then you're like, oh man, all this is happening. And then we had alerts going off on our phones for evacuations because of wildfires here in Western North Carolina and the evacuations going on. So praying for our neighbors here that are dealing with that. Just want to share that with you guys because you all have been so diligent to be praying for those of us here in Western North Carolina. That being said, I want us to move into talking about this whole Blue Origin's Jeff Bezos space PR stunt that just went out here with the flight to space with a bunch of celebrities.
And I just feel like all of the female astronauts that are going to go up today, it's such a big day in history and it's so empowering, especially my daughter is 7, and just to see something like this.
The more that I've been learning about this, and this ties into something that I will just be transparent and say that I noticed we had a family thing happening today. And so I haven't really been on my phone that much. And I've gotten on a few times to do a couple different things. I was helping my brother with something and kind of doing a couple different things. And I kept seeing these articles popping up about Katy Perry. And I was like, why on earth? All of our devices listen to us. They, track us everywhere we go. I can't tell you one thing I've ever looked up about Katy Perry. Like, why do you keep showing me this stuff? I had no clue this whole thing with Blue Origin flight and all of this stuff. I had no clue it had gone on. And I think, I have my own thoughts about Jeff Bezos and his fiance, Lauren Sanchez. I have my own thoughts about people like Katy Perry and Gayle King. Like, I have my own thoughts on stuff like that. And I'm just, okay, whatever. World's gonna be the world. I'm gonna stay over here and do my thing. And all of a sudden this stuff kept getting recommended to me. And I was like, what on earth is going on? Why am I seeing all of this? And so our friends and Sabrina, we were sitting down. She's like, have you seen this? And I'm like, I keep seeing stuff popping up. Like, what on earth is going on? So we're going to go through this article here. This is just an article from Yahoo News, but I think they did a great job summarizing it. But I think there's a bigger point that any of us who are actually paying attention to the signs of the times and just the reality of what's going on around us, I think this is one of those key things that might just look ridiculous from afar, but there is something much deeper and potentially even much more sinister kind of behind all of this. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments, because I think there is just so much here to unpack. Make yourself a cup of coffee. I've got a sparkling water, whatever you need to do. Let's just sit down and have a conversation about this, because what on earth is going on? That's my point. So for anybody who doesn't know, Jeff Bezos has his own, right? Elon Musk has SpaceX, and Jeff Bezos has his own space company, Blue Origin. So while SpaceX, and I'm not saying I'm an expert in any of this, so if you know more than I do, leave me a comment, please enlighten us genuinely. SpaceX, from how I understand it, which we've even had, we have a friend who actually, her and her family, they moved to Texas, and her husband works at SpaceX, you know, so they do these things, and sweet, amazing family. And it's so cool to see their posts and their things. But SpaceX seems to be very focused with, I don't mean this in like I don't mean to belittle it, but very spacey related stuff, right? Like they just rescued the astronauts that were stranded. They do lots of different missions. Of course, Elon Musk has this whole thing with Mars, which we could always talk about in a different video. I have very strong feelings about that. But it's very like true to space exploration, astronauty things that they're doing over at SpaceX. Whereas Blue Origin seems to be more like a glorified private jet company. They seem to be focusing more on this tourism and more of like this fun, go for a space flight type things, is from everything that I've ever understood about any of this, seems to be the difference in the two. So they go ahead and put together this flight, the first all-woman flight crew, which technically isn't true, because in 1963, Russia sent a woman up to space. So just saying, or the Soviet Union sent a woman up to space. So technically she would have been the first. But anyways, Blue Origin, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' space tourism company, completed its latest space flight on Monday with a 6-member all-female crew that included, so here we go. This is like the first thing that I'm like, guys, seriously. Pop singer Katy Perry, CBS Mornings host Gayle King, and Lauren Sanchez, an author, TV host turned philanthropist, and Bezos's fiance. They were joined by activist Amanda Nugent, ex-NASA engineer Aisha Bow, I'm so sorry for anything I'm saying wrong, and film producer Carrie Ann Flynn.
For command engine start, 2, 1, ignition. Liftoff. New Shepard has cleared the tower.
Okay, so before we even finish reading here, what amazes me with this, they're touting this as these women, of course, the women empowerment, first and foremost, makes me bananas. Are women capable? Are women powerful? Are women equipped? Women are amazing. We grow humans in our bodies. That, like, what could be more amazing than that? Like that's really, really amazing. Fantastic. Yes. All these women, girl power, look at them. What does Katy Perry know about space and space flight and all the pieces that go together to make this happen? What does Gayle King, Oprah's bestie, like, what? How does being a pop singer qualify you for space flight? Well, what does being a CBS morning show host, like, how? Lauren Sanchez, again, that's a whole nother topic. An activist, of course we need more of that. Okay, so a bunch of unqualified women went to space. Okay, that's fine. So you want to go, like, somebody mentioned it, but the average American can't afford eggs right now. But don't worry, a bunch of really rich women got to go to space. Hear me out, though. What makes this even better? A suborbital flight. They, like, They didn't go to space, okay? They got thrown up, yes. They got catapulted, yes. They weren't out in space, but less than 11 minutes. If you look at the pictures of these women, they spent far more time in hair and makeup than they did in space. Less than 11 minutes. So the whole world is focusing on this. Me, who I do probably the least amount of stuff online that you guys have ever imagined, and I couldn't help but like this was just everywhere. I'm just getting on my phone and just trying to do normal things. I had to pay some bills and check in on a couple things, and this is just popping up everywhere, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't even understand what this is. What? It's everywhere for some women who got catapulted in the air for less than 11 minutes. Most of us are struggling to keep food on the table and bills paid, but don't worry, they spent a absurd amount of money to throw really, really rich people anyways up into the air. Okay, why is this news? Gayle King defended the Blue Origin mission in an interview with Entertainment Tonight on Tuesday after hearing criticism from people she knows, likes, and considers friends. I love that Entertainment Tonight. Like, this is such a big deal. We're talking about space. We're talking about, astronauts and, all of this like really, really complex stuff. But don't worry, Entertainment Tonight has this covered, of course. Please tell me that mainstream media is not just a circus show. Like, how? Space is not, this is her quote, space is not an either or, it's a both and, she said. And because you do something in space doesn't mean you're taking anything away from Earth. And what you're doing in space is trying to make things better here on Earth. What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet cleaner. Okay. They want to do space tourism. How does that make Earth better? I don't understand. Okay. Have we not watched the movie WALL-E? Like, how is it going to make it better if we just take all of our trash and chuck it out into space? I have my own like personal, spiritual, religious thoughts about space and why I personally don't think anybody has any business being out there, wanting to go out there. Like, I have many, many strong opinions on that. But you're telling me that we need to support Blue Origin because they are doing such a wonderful job wanting to take waste here and put it in space to make our planet cleaner. Jeff Bezos has so many ideas, and the people that are working there are really devoted and dedicated to making our planet a better place, she added. There is nothing frivolous about what we did. So I'm very disappointed and saddened by it. And I also say this, what it's doing to inspire other women and young girls, please don't ignore that. I've had so many women and young girls reach out to me, and men too, by the way. They say, wow, I never thought I could do that, but I see you doing it. If you can be best friends with Oprah, then you too can do anything you want. The fact here too that she even adds in guys like that backhanded, and men too, by the way, because yes, let's make sure that we're always focusing on our woman empowerment. Remember, we talked about this before. Feminists don't want equality. They want control. They want power. It's not about equality. It's about domination.
It's about a collective energy in there. It's about us. It's about making space for future women and taking up space and belonging.
And this whole thing where it's like, this is such a wonderful thing. There was nothing frivolous about it. How much money went into this? And again, I'm not saying like you want to go and you want to build a company and you want to spend it, okay, that's great. But in the state of the world today, with everything that's going on, everything that's happening, and you don't find this frivolous? You were chucked up in the air for less than 11 minutes. Like, I'm telling you, if we were to find out how much, I used to do professional events as a living. Like, that's what I did. Talk about frivolous, okay? Talk about tens of thousands of dollars that average families would spend on a one-day event, it's crazy. Talk about frivolous. There's frivolous. I promise you, the hair and makeup teams for these women that went up, and you can tell it from their pictures, they look like Barbie dolls. hair and makeup costs more than you and I have to pull together for like real life things. But don't worry, it was nothing frivolous. This is really, really important work, you guys. Come on now. They go on to talk about this. There's all these different, you know, things coming out now with the backlash. I'm sure there's a million videos just like this of people going, what on earth is wrong with people? And I think there's something a little more sinister behind this all, which we'll touch on, but just stick with me here for a second. So Katy Perry, who apparently has a major calling in space and space travel. I mean, these people that I'm like, what do they have to do with space? Or have they been training to be astronauts? You know, I know Lance Bass, right, from NSYNC, like that was a thing decades ago where he wanted to go to space, and so he was like going and doing all this training and working with astronauts and like really, really serious stuff. And then these guys got their hair and makeup done and chucked up to space. Like, okay.
Obviously, like my higher self is always steering the ship.
I don't get it. I don't get how we're like, wow, look at this first all woman crew. Like, but do they even know what they're doing? Do they, like, if something were to happen, would they even be prepared? Like, there was one person in here that had some qualifications. What? I don't understand what this great feat of womanhood of, I don't understand what's so fantastic about this. Why are we all being told about this? Well, how are you furthering the planet? You're saying that this is a company that wants to make tourism trips to space. Like, I mean, so for the richest of the rich, that would be something that would happen. And to find a new way to chuck our trash out into space, because surely we'll have no repercussions from that. What? How, you guys? How?
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
Regardless, we could sit here and go on with breaking down the lunacy of what happened and the validity that even people that I wouldn't agree with on probably anything in the world that they're making when it comes to this, because this is ridiculous. It just, if you want to create something to go to space and to do stuff, then you have the right to do that, right? It's a free country. It's a free world. Like, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Knock yourself out. To call this some amazing, like, accomplishment of womankind to inspire the younger girls and whatever, like, I just think it is literally the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. But if that's what you want to say, that's what you want to say. How this is not just one big ridiculous publicity stunt. Y'all, all I could think of was Toy Story. That's not flying, that's falling with style. You got catapulted up and fell back down in under 11 minutes. I felt like what was going on with the astronauts that had been stranded in space received, honestly, the whole time they had been stranded, they received a very small amount of care and consideration. Now, them getting picked up did bring up a little more response, which rightfully so. I mean, that to me is just terrifying. But if you take all the media coverage and attention that was given versus this is ridiculous. This is a joke. Y'all got chucked up in the air for less than 11 minutes. Ain't none of y'all, like, all put together, minus one person who at least had some sort of background in this, but the rest of y'all put together have no knowledge, no understand. Like, I would love to see Katy Perry break this down for me.
What you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey. And then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure. And you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong divine feminine right now.
So it's like, okay, this is just a bunch of nonsense. The bigger thing to this here is what I think is interesting is we're talking about lately all this weather manipulation and all these things that happen. You don't think this stuff isn't connected, isn't going on? I mean, you look at the things of these big, powerful people and the stuff that happens, and you're like, what all do you guys have in there? What all are you guys doing with these tools, with these factories? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of that. You talk about, even, I was looking at different things and just, the stuff that's put out, the disruptions that these things can have. I mean, it's fascinating, okay? And you're like, okay, whatever. You look at the money that's behind it. Why do these people, the richest, most powerful people, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right? Like, why are they so obsessed with space? What do they think they're going to be able to escape from, alter, control? Why is a celebrity all-star crew, and look at them, I mean, they look like Barbie dolls, and a Barbie line's coming, all these things are going to happen. We any of us, like, we know it. Why are they who we picked to go do this? Why? Like, what? Obviously, it wasn't qualifications, because none of them are qualified for this. So what was it? Why is this who was picked? I'm curious. Like, I just find that interesting. What is the bigger picture that we need to not be paying attention to, so that way instead we can be focused on something as frivolous and ridiculous as catapulting a handful of women up into the sky, watching them kiss the dirt of Texas? Like, what? Why? And if you don't think that there's not a bigger something, whenever one of these stories comes out that just gets insane amount of mainstream media attention, insane amount, it's always because there's other stories getting buried. And I find it interesting when you look at the government waste spending that's going on, the chaos, of course, with wars and rumors of wars going on between many big players right now. You look at even the reports of abuse going on within our country in big systems, and we're seeing it play out in different celebrity stories that are really, really hot right now, and truth is genuinely being uncovered. Real stuff that might not impact you and I in like a day-to-day how I'm living my life, but I look at it and go, wow, that's a big bomb of truth that should make us all wake up and realize what a circus simulation this is that we're living in, and that they're all lying to us, manipulating us, and trying to get us to believe nonsense. Okay, so I just came inside and I was pulling up some of the clips I wanted to share in this video so you guys could see what I'm seeing. I had not heard Gayle King talk about her reciting her mantras and everything going into this, and her praise to T.D. Jakes for his prayers over them in the mission before they went into it.
And just to us was another sign of this was meant to be. As I was saying my mantra, Aisha had arranged a Zoom call with Bishop T.D. Jakes the night before. So so he did a prayer for us. He did a Zoom call with she and I. Tyler Perry, I called him, he's in Italy, he's a great prayer. He said a prayer with me. So I felt very, very uplifted. But T.D. Jakes said something that I thought was really interesting, because I was saying, I'm so afraid. He said, my dear, fear may be in the car, but fear is not behind the wheel. Isn't that good?
I love that, Gayle.
I love that, too. I can't believe I forgot to tell you guys that earlier today.
Well,
Friends, if you profess to be a Christian and you do not know about T.D. Jakes' elevation, the absolute apostasy that pours out of their mouths, that is alarming. So now we have all eyes on this ridiculous nonsense, which, yes, they went up, they got to see, like, it is very cool. It's just a tourist thing for really rich people to want to go do, sure. But T.D. Jakes was this amazing man of God to be praying over the mission, and then before they did this, and Gayle King's praise for him, y'all, we are seeing Christianity touted around. Donald Trump's got Paula White, who's an absolute heretic. You got T.D. Jakes being praised here. You see these things over and over and over again, and as believers, we should see this, and little alarm bells should be going off so loud. So again, leave me a comment down below. I mean, I know there's a lot that could be discussed in this, but I just came in here and saw that and went, of course T.D. Jakes was involved some way, shape, and form. All of these people that run the things in so many places of our world today, it's all evil. It's all traced back, and T.D. Jakes and pastors, Stephen Furtick, Copeland, all of these, Joel Osteen, all these people, messengers of Satan. And that's neat, sure. And I guess if your goal is to put people on these little trips, if your goal is to take garbage trucks and chuck them out into space, like, sure, like if those are your goals, then this is probably a step in that direction. I don't know how behind that I would like to get, but sure, that's probably a thing. Why are these guys so obsessed with this? Do any of you think of Revelation 6? Same thing with their bunkers they're building. How come all these rich people are so obsessed with building their bunkers and trying to figure out how to get out to space? You don't find that weird? You don't find that interesting? Any of us who we're in the Bible and we're reading and we're seeing the signs and of the times and the seasons around us, we're going, sure. That's odd that this is so important to you. Why is mainstream media just flocking to this and just fawning over it and just pushing it down your throats that they, and I know I'm talking about it too, but I'm saying, hey guys, hold on. When you're seeing this everywhere and everyone's talking about it and like, wow, look at women, look at this. Again, the average Americans are struggling to buy eggs right now, but we just sent a team of Barbie dolls up to the sky to not do anything. They literally went up and came back. You don't find that weird? You don't find that strange? Of all the things going on right now that really matter, really impact your life, my life, our children's lives, things going on with Social Security, things going on, right? Like we can have all these really, really big conversations that are going on, but oh, don't worry. Katy Perry held up a daisy in her trip to space because she is now an astronaut. What is happening? So I don't know. Y'all have to let me know down in the comments below, because I was like, I don't even know what to do with this information. The more, it's like you read one article and I'm like, what? That's crazy. There's no way. So then I read a second article and we're like, no, okay, this really is true. And then you're like, why is nobody else looking at this and going, this is the stupidest thing in the whole wide world? And then, thank you, Lord, there are other people saying that. And even other, secular people are looking at this and going, this is ridiculous. And I'm going, yes, this is ridiculous. And as a Christian, I personally find it even more ridiculous, because when I look at these things and I see everything going on in the world and I see the importance of knowing truth and walking out the wisdom of Scripture day in and day out, the real important stuff that actually does impact people and make a massive impact on every area of your life, it has nothing to do with chucking Barbie dolls up in the sky. Imagine that. And then glorifying it like it is some massive act to save not mankind, womankind. We don't care about men, remember? We only care about women. I think for once there might be a true possibility of some sort of great awakening, of some sort of a reset, because at what point does this mainstream secular crazy world start getting so insanely ridiculous that people start to go, what is going on? This can't be real. What is truth? Because you will find that one place and one place only, and that is through the Lord God, creator of all, and it is written out in his word. Genesis to Revelation of Scripture will tell you everything you need to know. Why these people are like this, I truly do think why they're trying so hard to figure out ways to build really strong bunkers and find a way to get themselves up into space, and why they continue to try to fool the masses with ridiculous stunts like what we saw here with this whole Blue Origin trip to space. I think it's insanity. I think we live in a circus, and I think that any of us with 2 brain cells to rub together and a little bit of common sense are going, this is ridiculous. I don't want to be a part of this system. There has to be something more substantial to life, and I promise you there is. And that's why we're going to talk about topics as they come up. That's why we are going to keep moving forward, minding our own business, working with our own hands, living a life that can be respected by even those who don't believe the same things that we believe, and pursuing a life based on the only truth that exists. Simple, quiet, peaceful, and prepared. So that's what stood out again. I can't wait to read y'all's comments. I know it's getting late. It's getting dark. I need to get into the house and get back to my family. I just was like, this is the craziest thing. Every time I think I've seen the craziest thing, something else happens and I go, that's even crazier than the thing before. So I had to come out and say, hey, and did you guys see this? Because I mean, it's everywhere, but it's bananas, absolutely bananas. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about it. Anything else you've seen lately that you're just like, What is going on? How do people not look at this and go, this world is lost its marbles? I don't know. So anyways, leave you guys some videos up here that YouTube thinks that you would really, really appreciate and you would like that. You guys go follow up with that right there. It might be a little more enjoyable, but leave me your comments down below and I will see you all right back here in the next video. Bye, friends.